Alright, hey everyone, Wonderbot here, and welcome back to Nova Drift. This is fancy, I like this. I haven't played this in a month. I was sick, I was in my parents' place, I was at PAX, new games came out and just piled on. And I couldn't, I wanted to, I couldn't. Oh. How am I doing on unlocks? Do I have everything? Did I unlock everything before I stopped last time? I must have, well that's convenient. Let's just get going. No. I'm definitely missing some difficulty modifiers there, I think. So anyway, let's see. So why am I back to this? One, because I love this game. It's a lot of fun. It's very zen. Pretty stressful. I mean, obviously, but like, I don't know. There's kind of... It's like... How do I describe it? It is one of those roguelikes that, like, you can do fun things with an interesting build, and it will always like pay dividends, finding new things out, doing new tests, trying new things. I don't know, it just gets kind of ridiculous. It snowballs well. I'm still kind of waiting for new content to really come out, just because I think the new content is where this game is going to really start shining. Let's see, do we go... What do we go? I'm gonna go flak. Let's see. But yeah, I'm personally waiting for the new content to come out. The wild mods specifically. There's a couple new weapons and ship types, but currently that's on hold as Chimeric is working on a new engine, which should make things a lot better. I think we might already be running on the new engine. Now that I think about it, I'm not exactly an expert on these things. I've more or less not been able to pay attention. So what do we do? I could do assault. We could just do super shotgun. Let's just do super shotgun today. Let's see. Do we do amp? 1% thrust, total weapon damage. That's not actually that amazing. Let's see. We could do temporal, helix, amp. Yeah, let's do helix for today. I like helix. It's kind of pretty. Get some magnitude going. Now I'm in Danger Town already, because I've just been coasting without actually leveling up at all. So I should probably work on that a lot. Let's get some hull strength here. All right. Well, that's about as much as I've got. Oh, upgrades have tags now. I think they had tags. I'll have to double check. Yeah, they've had tags for at least a little while. Grab velocity. I think I'm just gonna go big ol' shotgun. We could consider trying to go antimatter rounds. I don't know if it's a good idea. Yeah, they added that. Jeez. Somewhat far in. Like, I want to say it was like the later days of March that got added. But I could be wrong. I don't know. It's been in. That's all I can really say. Let's see. So we don't want to do burst fire. Burst fire gets kind of spooky. We could do juggernaut. I like juggernaut. It's a good mean. So let's get shield cooldown. Things start bonking into me after a while, and it's kind of nice to be able to avoid those. I guess the alternative is actually just going apotheosis. I don't know if it's that useful. Let's see. But yeah, so I need to go back to this. I'll probably talk about this at the end of the video. But so part of the reason why I'm also back is because I was kindly asked to. Because there's actually a promotion for Nova Drift going on right now. And you can pick it up for 10% off. I was going to say $10, but that'd be flagrantly wrong. You got to wait a little while for that one. But it's 10% off, so $13.50. I don't know. Maybe I'm a bit of a shill for this game just because I love it. But I think that's an entirely fair price. This is... I've said this a billion times over the course of this game's development, this series. But this is one of those indie games that if I had been handed the original version I started with, and Chimeric had said, yep, this is 1.0, I would have believed him, and then been surprised if and when he added more content. So I was quite surprised when I found out that the game was not even early access yet, which just seemed like, well, wrong. Not actually a problem at all, but it was just baffling. It's like, most indie games that are early access or not even early access yet tend to be, I'm gonna say, particularly unfinished feeling. Like, there's a feeling of, ow. Let's see, do I have regen? I don't actually have regen yet. Let's grab Snipe instead. There we go. Let's see, what do we get next? I could do improved thrusters. Yeah, let's do improved thrusters. Okay, what do we want to grab next? I could do flash shielding. I'm not entirely convinced flash shielding is ever a good idea outside of certain builds. So let's do force armor instead. Let's see. But yeah, I don't know. I've just always been impressed with the amount of content put forth in this game. Most games, I don't know. There's actually been a lot of really good early access games over the years that I was quite impressed by. One of the first that I specifically ever did a series on, a couple of the first actually, that always did rather well for me was, let's see, volatile shields. Easy example, I was a huge fan of Tower of Guns. It's part of the reason where I got my start and where I got a lot of my practice. I feel like he toned that one down a bit. It feels like the retaliatory shots are significantly less punishing now. I think they've got better fall off than they used to. Probably for the best. Oh, I should get explosive shots. That would make a difference here. Let's see. I'm a little bit on the large side. I'll be okay. Got plenty of shielding. Unfortunately, I lack the oomph that I think I really would like to go for here. I am dead. Yeah, I was lacking the oomph. We can try that again. I gotta shake off the rust. So what do we do? I don't know. I'll spin. What build do I go with? I wonder if railguns have gotten any improvements. I was a little tepid on them. I always wanted them to be, like, super impactful. Oh, wait, hold on. Let's back out of this for a second. Do I have Warp Strike? Yes, I do have Warp Strike. Okay, let's do a Warp Railgun build, maybe. I wouldn't mind doing a burn build at some point, but I don't even know what rebalance changes have actually, like, occurred, so I don't even know if, like, any of my old breaker builds are particularly usable. Not that I've ever been considerably good at this game. Like, I remember when I was starting, Chimeric was bragging about some people getting into the millions of score, and I'm like, I'm proud of my singular run that broke 500k. I don't think I've ever gotten close with any of my other runs. But I'm proud of that one. Okay, so what do we do? I could do Assault, we could do Hull Breaker, I could do Stealth. Let's just do biggest boom possible. I'm gonna have to do Warp Strike, but I think I might see if I can do antimatter rounds on top of it all. Just because I almost never do antimatter rounds for any reason. At all. Let's see. Do we do Temporal? Yeah, I'll do Temporal. It kind of sucks for shielding, but great for avoiding. Ish. Guess I can still aim. Kinda. Let me see. That is pretty satisfying. Weapon mutations. I'm really looking forward to getting those eventually. Because if I remember right, there's supposed to be, like, alternate weapon types that you can use. The fact that I've known about them for, like, 2 months now, and they're not in the game yet, is mildly upsetting, if only because I want to use them. I want to see the ridiculous combos I can have with even more options. There we go. Let's see. Do we do Magnitude? Let's do Magnitude just because. Bam. Nope. Bam. E. I will admit, because of my busyness and all the other games coming out, I actually was pretty bad about the Steam release for this game. Which I feel a bit bad about, but hopefully people were able to kind of find my footage all the same. We do not want rapid reconstruction. That's a bad idea. Let's grab shield durability. Payload. Let's see. But yeah, I was looking at this to get the sale information as we were starting this stream, recording session, whatever. And it looks like everything is mostly positive. I don't know how many reviews he got. I should probably be better about leaving reviews myself. Though, from what I've heard, people that actually get the game for free don't actually have their reviews counted as much, which is a little bit unfortunate. I'm sure it's just to balance out so the developers can't buy views. But it's always a little bit disheartening whenever I hear about that. Let's see. If I want Warp Strike, we gotta get targeting. It's worth it. But I don't know, it's always satisfying, it's always heartening when I see, like, a game that I'm, like, super passionate about do well. Similarly, I guess I've been playing Forager lately, again. And that was one of those, like, sweetheart games that I picked up months before the release. Very similar story, honestly. And that game did really well for me and seems to be doing really well on the internet. Which is exciting, because, I don't know. I love it when developers... See, do I want the thrust? I guess I'm gonna go butt shot for now, just because I don't actually know if that hurts me in the slightest. I just sincerely believe butt shot is always helpful. On everything except for Vortex, I believe. Let's see. Snipe. Everyone loves Nova Drift. It's like Galactic Law. Yeah. I think the only complaints I've ever heard about the game are that the control scheme is kind of funky, which is entirely fair. If this game wasn't so good, I would actually... if this game wasn't so good, I would hate it. But no. I really don't like, I really don't like Asteroids. It was one of the only games on my parents' computer when I was a kid. And I thought it was so garbage. I hated playing it, but it was like... it was either that or Solitaire. And guess what? As a 4-year-old, I was not terribly interested. And then they started picking up other, like, cool new games. That was just when we got our new computer. But then my parents started getting cool new games like Red Alert and Mega Man X. At which point, it got a little bit better. Then my dad somehow got his hands on, like, 500 million shareware floppies. And so we got to play, like, demos for Commander Keen and stuff. I've played, I think I've sunk easily 30 hours into the Commander Keen series, and I haven't beaten a single game, because I didn't own them until I was in college, and then at that point, I just didn't have the time. Let's see, do we want to do shield effect radius while we wait? I want Warp Strike to show up. Well, there we go. But yeah, so I've never done well on Asteroids. I never beat Commander Keen. I beat half of Red Alert, which for like a 6-year-old, like, that's an achievement in and of itself. For how much I've played those games. I did beat Red Alert 2 though, repeatedly. That game is fantastic. I think that's why I never got around to beating Red Alert 1. Is like I was too young to beat Red Alert 1 when I was a kid. When I was like too young. And then I got my hands on Red Alert 2 and it was amazing, so I just played that, and then it was like, hey, I should go back and play Red Alert 1. Nah. I think I'm gonna grab Convergence. My damage is still pretty bad. Let's see. Well, it's not bad, it's just slow. Blast radius might not be a terrible idea, too. There's a couple of different things I can do. I gotta get some, like, pads for this chair. I have my IKEA Pawang It's super comfortable, but the armrests are not. They're just a little bit hard on my elbows. I'm gonna take the damage, it doesn't matter. Let's see. I did say I needed to grab blast radius, so I'm gonna put up. I don't know why, but put up or shut up has been like stuck in my head as a phrase for the past like several days, and I honestly can't tell you why. And like this happens. Y'all should probably have experienced this to some degree with me. Where like I will latch onto a phrase of the day. You know, I might say like I'll write a bunch, or I don't know, there's like 500 million different phrases and catchphrases that I've used over the years. And I just alternate between them. I have no like rhyme or reason, and I rarely stick to one for longer than, you know, however long. It's just, I don't know. How my brain works, I guess. Oh, I missed. He's not presenting his openings very well. Me or nope. That sucked. Oh, that sucked. I don't do well with collisions right now. Well, that puts us in a bit of a dicey situation. I mean, luckily, with the shield, the slow effect. Ow. It might not be so bad, but still. Vulnerability detected. I know! Just didn't feel like presenting for me earlier, and I'm not entirely sure if I trust myself to hang out in here. Whoops. Well. Because usually what happens is I bounce around inside for a while, and then explode. And I'm not sure if I want to go through that. But yeah, what else was it? Bonkers. Bonkers was the one for a while. I ended up stopping that, actually, because people were making fun of me for using it. And, like, it's weird. As a person that makes fun of quite a lot of things, I find I actually don't take being made fun of very well. I think it's because usually when people make fun of me, it's not exactly lighthearted. It's usually, like, a dig against, like, something I say or do repeatedly. Like, I'm not a big fan of my own first name to some degree. I'm fine with it, but it's like, how many characters do you guys know named Carl in, like, media that, you know, generally it's one of those names that is kind of like the nerdy sidekick or I don't know. Like, there are a couple characters named Carl, but usually they're not, like, anyone impressive. I think that's always bothered me a little bit. An easy example would be, like, Jimmy Neutron. The nerdy friend is Carl. Well, nerdy friend. I guess he's nerdy? Yeah, he is nerdy. Sorry, brain is distracted. This boss is kind of hard. Do you want to do... If I do... No, we shouldn't do that yet. Not until we actually have... some other things. We should probably do improved thrusters. I want, emergency systems. But yeah, so, obviously there's also stuff like llamas with hats. And, I guess most recently would be Walking Dead that I can think of. And so, like, some characters... You know, some people might have enjoyed those characters, but usually they're the butt end of a joke or something. And, so, I guess by nature, I have always been mildly the butt end of jokes. And, like, yeah, I'm used to it. My job is to make jokes. But I've become sensitive to it at the same time. And so I find, like, if it's too often, I actually get kind of pissed off by it. So I was having a conversation with Price. Ow! I was having a conversation with Price from Stumped. And it wouldn't be a bad idea to get the adrenal module, but I gotta go past regenerative shields. I don't really want that. Let's see, I could do incendiary strike. It's pretty much always worth it on this kind of build. Oof. Oof. I probably still want convergence just for coverage. We're gonna start getting a lot of foes here, and I don't know if I'm gonna want to deal with that. Okay, there we go. But yeah, I was having a conversation with Price, and he made note that I never brought up the Price is Right around him. And I realized I very rarely make fun of somebody's name. As, I guess, a result of my personal experiences. This is kind of a weird topic to come back to this game on, but hey, here we are. But yeah, so I think as a result of that, and a couple other things, I've always been like, making fun of people's, like... I think I'm more interested in making fun of people's behaviors than them themselves-ish. I've always been much more of a like, prank comedy kind of person. Let's see, do we do adaptive armor? We do, but I want to get convergence. It synergizes way too well with Warp Strike. Fathers and Melvin. Ooh, yeah. Melvin's right up there. Gertrude. That might also be like a regional thing, because if I remember right, Gertrude is actually still considered to be a decent name in Europe, but I've never heard anybody call anybody else Gertrude affectionately in the US, generally. Humphrey. Yeah, well, okay. So, Humphrey's a little bit of an odd one for me because I'm a huge fan of Humphrey Bogart. I love noir. Wow. Boss just kind of rolled in on me. Well, it's fine. But yeah, I'm a massive fan of Humphrey Bogart as an actor and the movies he was in. Maltese Falcon is one of the only old movies that I really enjoy. Mainly just because I feel like film noir is such a relatively dead genre outside of like video games that it's actually really charming to go back and watch those, and they hold up relatively well too. But I will agree that it probably is one of those. That probably is one of those names that people make fun of. I want the rest of this train. Okay, there we go. I like Warp Strike. It is so handy. Okay. Everything is good. So what do we grab next? I'm still working on getting Streamline if I can. Do I grab Streamline? Does reduce my HP by a little bit, but yeah, I'll do it. Oh, I was hitting the landmines. That's what was going on. Let's see. Man, where did I get onto this topic from? My mind is wandering. You gotta realize... Well, actually, I don't think I've said this on this YouTube video, or this recording yet. I just got back from a movie. I think one of the longest movies I've ever seen. The Avengers Endgame, go figure. Which is obviously, like, just not exactly the most complicated movie ever. But I'm suffering from, I'm gonna say, sensory overload to some degree. Let's get emergency systems, because they're obscenely good. You know, obviously, especially towards the end of every Marvel movie, that's whenever, like, the major stuff is happening. So it's just, like, flashing lights and heavy music and a bunch of other stuff, and it's just like, yep, I'm a little frazzled today. So... I don't know. My brain is currently switching back and forth between, like, what I'm talking about and being like, yep, that was a movie that I can't talk about for obvious reasons. I'll maybe talk about Avengers eventually on camera. Probably sometime next month. I've never been much of a movie critic, I will admit. Honestly, I guess I generally don't care about movies. I find they tend to bore me. Wow, that's a lot of goodies. Most movies tend to just be uninteresting to me. Let's grab, yeah, Force Armor, obviously. Durability is important. Let's see, Concentrated Blast, if I want to go... I do, but I don't want it that much. Let's go Deadly Wake. I tend to move around a fair bit here. Yeah, no spoilers. Don't worry. I try very hard not to spoil things unless it's like a direct topic of conversation that is relevant. So if I want to talk about like, what's an easy thing I could spoil? Shit, I don't know. There's not a whole lot of things that I would like bring up normally as a spoiler, that would ever make a difference. Unless it's some kind of like insane twist in a story. But even then, I can't really think of anything that I couldn't just, like, talk about in a vague sense. And almost everybody would know what I'm talking about anyway. I feel like they give you more EXP now. But it might just be this section. I don't know. I'm having trouble telling. Let's see. I don't want Omni Shield. Not sure if I want these. Let's see, Splinter. Splinter might not be a bad idea. Let's grab Warpath for the time being. I'm going to be fighting progressively more enemies here, so it seems like a good idea to do so. Whoops. Oh, we should probably grab flash shielding at this point. Now that I've got emergency systems, flash shielding is kind of helpful. Sort of. I guess I'm not the living explosion currently. Actually, what am I doing? I should be shooting him from behind. It might actually be worth getting the extra fire. Whoops. The extra fire damage might not be a bad idea. And yeah, we definitely want flash shielding. Ow, 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 ow. My control over this is not as good as it was a month ago. I could float in this game a month ago. Now I'm a little bit more, now it's a little bit more chaotic as far as I'm concerned. I'm doing alright. I guess, honestly, actually, the only spoiler I can think of is the spoiler at the end of God of War, and the only reason why that's immediately relevant is just because it's something I can talk about as a, you know, I could actually try siege weaponry with this. That might not be a bad idea. We should probably go for core shielding first, though. But no. Because the thing is, I don't take that ramping damage unless I need to. Because half the time, I'm not even, firing very fast. So unless I actually go into siege mode, I'm safe. Huh. That's actually something I should keep in mind. But yeah, we still gotta go core shielding before I really want to commit to siege moding most things. Most things. We'll see. Oh, the music and the sound effects are a bit loud. I wonder if I haven't rebalanced it since it came out on Steam? Yeah, it looks like it's actually at maximum volume. I apologize about that. Okay, it is fixed. Should be much quieter now. Now I feel deaf. Let's see. So I could also do saturation fire. Oh, instead of calibrating over time, you calibrate as siege weaponry ramps up. Ah, that's really cool. But no, we gotta go adaptive armor and core shielding first, otherwise I'm gonna hurt myself real bad. Wow. That really is like a substantial auditory difference. Okay. But yeah, so where was I? Words, things, stories, being made fun of. I don't know. Okay. I want those boxes. Unfortunately, they are not a priority for my, they're not a priority for my homing. So they'll actually home away, so it makes it really hard to aim at. Oh, it's okay. Oh, it's this guy. Honestly, this guy is tougher than most bosses for me, which is kind of interesting. You'd think he'd actually be kind of a pushover, but no, he is a tanky son of a gun. And there's just a lot of saturation. I think that's the thing. It's just the field just gets so messy with damage. At least his, like, bombs give me, or his spike bombs give me EXP now. That's kind of nice. It feels like I'm getting more now, but it could be wrong. Okay. Want to grab as much EXP as I possibly can. This guy almost might be a candidate for saturation fire. Okay, stay away from that. I don't suppose that hit him. It didn't. Okay, there he goes. I gotta be kinda careful. It feels like those guys are significantly weaker now. Less HP for the amount of danger they generally present, which is a nice change. Okay, do we go Rebuke? Let's go Rebuke. I bet it does buttloads of damage, so it seems like a good idea. Excuse me, sir. Please, none of that tentacle business. Unfortunately, whoop. Where am I? I am in this mess, and I don't want to be. I'm very dangerous to these guys. Because I do a fair chunk of damage. Okay. Let's see. So I could get Juggernaut for the extra hull strength and knockback resistance. Yeah, I'm going to grab that. We've already got a size down, but things are going to start bumping into me more often. And the crash resistance and the extra 20% extra health helps a lot. Whoops. Let's see. Wonder, do you have a schedule for what games you play and when? No. Honestly, it's entirely dependent on what I need for YouTube. As much as I try and focus on streaming, I am actually a YouTuber first-ish. Which doesn't really make much of a difference. Ah, shoot. Not again. Let's see. As much as I try and... Whoa, that hurt. That one just stalled for some reason. But yeah, I try and I try and fill out both equally. The problem is for me, I ultimately do have to make sure that YouTube is fed first and foremost out of both, because that's the one that pays the bills. So generally I'm trying to make sure I've got a firm coverage of everything, so I'm always going to be a little bit more of a variety act than I think some other channels might be. Whoops. Worry about that a little. But I've also been troubled by life-ish stuff for a little while. A little while longer than I'd like, personally. Hopefully we can get some of it sorted over the next couple days. Because our next contact with animal control is... Yeah, that's going to be a non sequitur for people on YouTube. We have dogs waking us up at 6:30 in the morning. and then they bark all day, so it's just like, yeah, do you want to take a nap because you're tired? Yeah, good luck. Unless you're really... Oh, boy. I was facing that guy down a little bit too hard. Unless you can fall asleep to the dulcet tones of yap, 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 yap forever. Oh, shit, it's this guy. Damn it. It was right there. But yeah, so we're still working on that. Mainly, we just have to actually talk to animal control. And be like, hey, by the way, these dogs bark at these times. And it sucks. It sucks. That wasn't a bad run, though. Well, comparatively.